I want to apologize again. Today, we're going to go ahead tonight, rather. Welcome back to the Truth Seekers Live. Before we go ahead and get into things, I want to just start us off right and say a prayer. Heavenly Father, before I roast this young lady tonight in dignity and respectfulness and integrity and honor, truth, and strength, I pray for 3 Cash App contributors or PayPal or super chats during the stream from the supporters to show their faith in not only you, Lord, but also, or whatever entity they believe in as a creator, but also for the stream. Amen. All right. So we're talking about just pearly things tonight, right? Thank you for everybody that supports the show. Make sure you like coming into the building. Make sure you share and everything like that. I tried to turn the lights a little bit more different and, lower and neon-y, so it's a little easier for you to watch. We got a heck of a show for you tonight, though, for you today. If you're listening to this on the way to work in the morning or, tomorrow or the day after or whatever time you're listening to this, it's going to be a heck of a show for you. Just Pearly Things is on a tirade, and we talked about her meteoric rise to success. And if you're watching this live stream, then you probably already know who she is. If you don't know who she is, then she's a woman who represents a large, silent majority, if you will, group of men who feel disenfranchised through the vast economic wealth difference in, I guess, America's capitalization system, where they found themselves at the opposite end of the spectrum through divorce courts, through, I guess you could say, legal issues, relation cost, and just the financial toll of being a man in society in 2022. So she's the champion for the group of men now. She's been propelled into the forefront, particularly amongst the black males. And she talks to a lot of black people, right? Once again, just pearly things. But we're not just covering just pearly things. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the man that you see in the pictures. That's right. The man that you see in the pictures right there is just Pearly Things' ex-boyfriend. Her ex-boyfriend. That picture that you see on the right-hand side, the thumbnail photo, is them when they were dating. Now, his name is Angry Reactions, right? Angry Reactions. And this is him on Twitter. He does have a pretty poppin' Twitter channel, if you will. Now, this is a video of him describing his relationship with just Pearly Things. And somehow, you know how the internet goes. The internet's going to find out things about you. It's just a matter of time until everything is brought to the forefront. And so all the information that you're going to see tonight is public information, and it's been put out there. To my surprise, to your surprise, to everybody's surprise, I think, this is kind of little known outside of the TikTok world, which, of course, she's been banned on. Every single account that Just Pearly Thing now places on TikTok as well as Instagram gets immediately banned. So whether or not you think that that's some kind of conspiracy, I'll leave that for you. But I'm sorry. Oh, we have a super chat. Wow, we have a super chat. Okay, we need to go ahead and stop the show. We need to stop the show. Stop whatever you're doing. Pull over to the side of the road. This is serious. Okay, this just got a lot more serious than whatever we're talking about. All right, I'll be quite frank and honest with you. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for the super chat. I'm going to go ahead and read that super chat right now. I'm delaying because I'm not actually in the YouTube studio. If my computer crashes, just know that the super chats are going to go towards paying for a new one. Oh, it's Gulf Coast Granny in the building. Shout out to Gulf Coast Granny with the $10 super chat. Coming in strong to support. We got to give Gulf Coast Granny a big bomb, as well as a Law and Order sign. Yes, I did that in reverse, but just know it was out of love. Shout out to you, Gulf Coast Granny, coming through. She says truth with the hearts. Gulf Coast Granny always supporting. All right. Sheesh, that was so loud. I'm so sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and close that tab out. Back to Just Pearly Things. So, we're going to listen to this guy's story a little bit more later on, right? And he doesn't go too far into it, but just know that it's interesting, okay? It's interesting. I don't know how, why, but it is what it is. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Pearl has admitted that she dates nothing but black men, right? And in turn, she hasn't gotten married. So she went on to Kevin Samuel's show to get advice for how to get in what is a black male, I would assume, to marry her, right? Because Kevin Samuel's show was initially aimed towards the black community, and it grew towards all races, or at least some, I'd say the minority of races, but other races of white, Asian, and Latino had a lot to reverberate with Kevin Samuels' message, and so they did grow to like it, right? They did grow to admire it. So Kevin grew past that he became a household, I guess you could say, YouTube household name. So she went from asking Kevin Samuels initially, when Kevin was, I think, a bit smaller and still taking calls a little more actively than he was maybe towards the later stage, on how to get a man to marry her. Now, I don't know if she was actually with this guy at the time, her boyfriend. I'm not sure. I haven't really put those dates in accordance, but I can tell you that looking at that picture that you see on the thumbnail, his dreadlocks are a lot shorter than they are right now. And just by my dreadlocks and looking at his growth and length, that looks like it was about 2 years ago. Just by judging, maybe 2.5 years ago, right? Just by judging from the pictures. Now him explaining that to, now, from what I see, from what I understand, this is a recent, a somewhat recent breakup. Now this is somewhat speculative, so I don't know about this. But it's neither here nor there. Let's just continue, all right? But just get this. This is where the situation is just like, it's mind-numbingly ironic. Get this. So she goes to Kevin Samuels' show, asks Kevin, teach me how to get married. He doesn't say really anything. And now she transitions from that to become arguably the biggest YouTuber in the black dating community that blames black women for not being married to the same group of men that she's not currently married to. Okay, not only is just Pearly Things not married, she doesn't even have a boyfriend right now. That's a completely different can of worms, okay? That's a completely different, like, a completely different set of arguments. We're going to get to that a little bit later, though. Let's take race out of the equation, okay? Well, you can't to some extent because some people just can't, but. Well, you know what? In this case, you really can't take race out of the equation, and I'll tell you why. Race matters. And we'll get into a bit of this, right? But just to kind of give you the brief summary, remember I told you that she was the person that was able to take over Kevin Samuels' dynasty, legacy, whatever you want to say. Now, obviously, race doesn't matter, but in this situation, it kind of does matter, right? It's a unique, interesting fit. I don't think anybody saw it. It's a left field, right? This is why Pearl was able to partly fake it to the top. It does matter. There's skewed imagery that is pervasive inside of the Manosphere, purporting a certain group and a certain image and a certain type of women to the top as being the ideal, right? No matter what. Even though, if we're being completely honest, when we take a look at those stats of the ideal woman, and we start looking and observing the actual interracial data that we've seen, and I'm not going to bring up the numbers right now, but you've already seen on live streams in the past that when black women marry white men, it's the most successful marriage per 100 marriages out of any marriage, out of any race, out of any people. It's more successful than white men and white women. It's more successful than white men and Latino women. It's more successful than every other barometer and every metric of dating is black women with white men. So we have to keep race in the equation to some extent, because when Pearl is sitting there as a white woman trying to blame black women for why they're not married to black men, and bringing up a statistic like, oh, well, black women are the least married, she fails to mention that when, obviously on the inverse side, black women do decide to date out and marry white men, it's the most successful marriage, right? This is why the numbers and statistics are so whatever, and she'll ride these numbers and statistics. She's just reverberating the same thing and regurgitating the same thing that these guys always say, right? She knew, however, that her identity and who and what she'd be able to represent would carry her through and float her to the top just as it has. Now, without beating around the bush, let's be quite frank and honest, all right? Dating in the black community is vastly different than it is dating in the white community, right? Now, Pearl's background is very privileged upbringing, okay? So, from a certain extent, she doesn't have the ability to speak on relationships in a certain way or of a certain demographic or of a certain culture or however you might want to relate to that, because she hasn't walked through or experienced truly the nature of what it is to actually grow up in that type of environment and then to have relationships from a certain age in that type of environment. You see, she probably didn't grow up in an all-black environment, I'm assuming, based off of the pretty privileged upbringing that she had. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that that's awesome that she was able to grow up that way. However, that would be like me growing up in America and then going and trying to teach people in China how relationships would be. Well, it's not necessarily wrong per se, right? It's not that I'm necessarily trying to do the wrong thing, but these are two completely different cultures, and what they live and go through, I cannot relate to or even try to begin to understand to some extent because I just am not Chinese, right? Just reading these. So, I'm just reading some of my notes right here. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm gonna get back to. Okay, so I have some statistics, but I'm gonna get back to some of these statistics right now because we're gonna watch a few of these clips that we have here. We're gonna see what he has to say about his relationship with just Pearly things. I know he doesn't say too much, but this is what he does say. It's a 40-second clip, so let's see. All right.
Listen, can y'all please leave me out of any situation that y'all see going on with my ex? I understand that y'all are feeling some type of way about the things that she's saying, but that has nothing to do with me anymore. I have no opinion I would like to share about what this woman is saying or doing. I am not involved with that at all. Y'all be low-key hurting my feelings too with these comments y'all be tagging me in. Like, she'll say something about plus-size people, and y'all will be like, well, didn't you date Angry Reaction? Bro, I don't...
All right, that's really too loud for me, but he's completely right about that. And I'm not trying to put this guy's business all the way out there, but I did go to his Instagram page, Angry Reactions, and he's a pretty big guy, right? Pretty big guy. Now, I'm going to put up the picture of them, and I had a poll that I wanted to ask y'all of why you think Pearl would have gotten with this guy, okay? Now, this is his Instagram, and I want us to be nice. It looks like he does fancy, women that look like Pearl. This is him. He has 1.3 million followers on Instagram. Okay, it's pretty well off. I'm sure he's making a good amount of money. 1.3 million followers. He's doing well. He's definitely balling. He's living good. This is his body picture here. All right. So this is Pearl's ex. All right. This is the woman who's going to lead you to the promised land. Right. Okay. Now I'm not going to just put him on blast like that. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Okay, let me get to my poll here. Oh, I think I just had it. Okay. Here's my poll. I can create a poll. Yes. Yo. I was just like, what is going on with it? I know, y'all. I know. I was tripping when I saw this. I was like, what in the heck is going on with this? What do you think attracted just Pearly things to her? Oh, disconnected. Okay, looks like we're reconnected. So okay, guys, if you're experiencing some kind of delay, I'm sorry. OBS Studio disconnected and reconnected. But I think we're good now. Okay. I'm changing some of the answers right now. Well, I see that. I want to see what the people have to say, though. Want to see what the people have to say. I have 3 options here. There you go. All right, there we go. There. The poll is out. Let me know what you think. Why she got with angry reactions, and also why they break up. Why do you think they broke up? Now let's talk about a few things, right? Let's talk about the blatant hypocrisy. Okay. You have just Pearly things who's taking a dump all over women of minorities pretty much 24/7 to cash a check. We already know what the play is, and hey, it is what it is. We already know that you can say certain things in a certain way, and if you say it well enough, then people will compensate you royally for it, right? But get the irony. She's single herself right now, right? She's not married herself. So not being married is one thing, but being single is something completely different. Okay, as I said, I'm pretty sure they recently broke up according to the information that I have. Right? So, if they recently broke up and she was calling Kevin Samuels on information about how to get married and how to become a wife to a guy that has an Instagram following of 1 million, do you kind of understand, where I'm going here? You kind of understand a little bit where I'm going here with this? It sounds like to me, and I'm being messy, but I'm going to be messy. It sounds like to me that she was trying to get a ring from this cat right here. That's what it sounds like to me. Maybe, maybe not. But either way, she was looking for some type of relational advice. Once again, I'm telling y'all that these social media cats, especially with 1 million followers, do very well. He makes a lot of money with 1 million followers, a decent amount of money. If he plays his cards right, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I'm looking at his videos, and I'm actually looking at his YouTube. He might not make as much money as I thought. And that could have been a reason that they broke up too. I don't know. Maybe he's not making as much as I thought. With 1 million followers, how could you not make bank? But his videos on here, I mean, for having 239,000 subscribers, he's got about as many views as I have on my videos. You know what I mean? He's verified and everything. So maybe that's why they broke up. Which, in case, wouldn't that be hypergamy? Just Pearly things? Wouldn't that be the same thing that you take a crap on women for, wanting to do to leave the guy because he's not necessarily on his grind as much as he was before? I don't know the history of Angry Reactions or his channel. I'm not going to really dig through it right now, but wouldn't that be kind of contradictory, Pearly things, for you to have left this guy because, or if he's not making as much money? Women come onto the show all the time, and they'll say, and they give similar experiences of, oh, well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, things got a little tough, and he didn't really, whatever it might be, and hey, I just had to leave, and Pearl go into some kind of tangent of, oh, well, modern women are delusional, thinking that they always want the next best thing and they're waiting for the next best thing and this and that. Well, I mean, it's partly true because to some extent, like, love doesn't pay the bills, right? We understand that. But moreover, in your own personal life, we kind of, from what I'm seeing, it looks like you've done the same exact thing. The same exact thing. Unless, once again, y'all were just soulmates or something like that. But you know what kind of gives me the indication that you did the same exact thing? Is because you broke up with them when you started to become YouTube famous, right? Now, if we go back to this picture right here, and I'll show you what I mean. Look on the picture. It says, who's your favorite TikTok couple? Now, what does that mean? Let's go detective status for a little bit, y'all. Let's go ahead and get Law and Order with it, right? Who's your favorite TikTok couple? That would indicate to me that they were actually putting themselves out as a couple together on TikTok, which means that they were, she was at least promoting herself in some type of way, doing something, right? So when you say you're a TikTok couple, that means to me, or that tells me that you're a TikTok power, or you're a power couple, right? Or you're at least a couple that's focusing more on the business side of things to promote some sort of brand, image, business. You get what I mean? So who's your favorite TikTok couple in this particular thumbnail, in this particular picture, is very, very, very telling. It was telling me that she was already trying to make something of herself in the social media realm. I don't know if she was on this type of message beforehand, but in one of the videos on her boyfriend's TikTok, I did watch some of the videos. On one of the videos on her boyfriend's TikTok, it says that she didn't used to be like this before. He literally says that on his TikTok. As a matter of fact, we'll go ahead and find it. I'll find that video for you. But he talks about it. He said she didn't used to be like this before, so don't ask me any questions about her. That's literally what he said directly from his mouth. What do you mean she didn't used to be like that before? Just Pearly things? You didn't used to be like that? Well, okay. Let's figure it out for ourselves. Who was Just Pearly things? How was Just Pearly things like? So interesting. Now, once again, we already kind of know, right, what the deal is. But let's see. Okay, let's watch some videos, right? All right. I don't know if he only has 2 videos, so he's not saying anything about it. He only has 2 videos.
I look at the computer.
And this one only is 7 seconds long, so I don't know if he does say anything about it. I did hear, though, in one of the videos, jeez. Okay.
Leave me out.
I look at.
Just give me a second, y'all.
Listen, can you?
All right, let me see if this is actual. Is this an actual video? What the heck? Okay, give me a second, guys. If you're listening, I'm just trying to see if this is a
Leave
video.
me out of any situation.
No, it's not. All right. Well, wherever I heard it, it was his voice. I think maybe it was a YouTube video. He was talking on somebody's platform or somebody's podcast, and he was just saying, "Yeah, she didn't used to be like this." That's literally what he said. He was like, "I don't know what happened to her. She didn't used to be like this." Right? Now, what happened to her was after Kevin Samuels died, just like I said in the first podcast we were talking about Just Pearly things, she saw a business opportunity, a monumental money demolishing business opportunity, and she went 110% for it. So much so that she just pretty much left him in the dust. Right? She started making money. She started doing well for herself. Well, hey, Pearly things ended up doing the same thing that she bashes independent, young, independent, financially well-off, educated, well-off, middle-aged, educated, well-off women who have career, well-off women. She's single. She doesn't even have a guy. There's no ring on her finger. She's not looking to date right now. She doesn't want to date. She wants to get her money, right? Just like everybody wants to do, men and women. You get what I mean? And so it's fascinating, these content creators. It's crazy when you see a content creator and it's like, okay, I know that everybody doesn't live what they say 110%. I get that. Like, we know, sure, we all fabricate a little bit. I don't. I'm the honest truth. So, you know, it is what it is. But we all fabricate a little bit on certain things. But when you see somebody offline that is completely different and the antithesis of everything that they say or they claim to be online, and they're able to build, wealth. We're talking about, listen, y'all, we're talking about wealth. We're not wealth. We're talking about some serious money, 6 figures a month. I'd say it's wealth, because that's just, the longer she goes. I mean, as long as she goes, it'll be evergreen until people get tired. So, wealth on YouTube, maybe not wealth, but hey, it could be pretty good. I mean, she was able to tap in and just understand, y'all, in 4 months, go from nothing to 6 figures a month on YouTube because she knew the formula and knew the recipe, right? Now, well, I better not say that. Let me give you an example, right? So, I'll show you, and I'll give you a couple examples of why these people and these content creators are so shifty and twisty. And why it really is, it's just, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but let's just look at this website for a second. This is the NY Post, right? Let's check this out. So this statistic says this: Black women are the only demographic to have a higher divorce rate than marriage rate, right? So this is something that Pearly would bring up, and she would tell a woman who's on the panel who's trying to explain her story on why it's harder for her to find a qualified guy to marry who's black, right? Or a qualified guy who's married, right? She'll bring up something like this, right? Because she's already touched on facts on why black women are harder to date. Right? We talked about it last time. She had a video called or titled, "Is it harder to date black women? Or are black women more difficult to date?" So she'd bring up a stat like this. This is a Manosphere factoid right here, and the Manosphere would be they will see you're absolutely correct. Manosphere, they're correct. Listen, this is the fact, truth. Black women are the only demographic to have a higher divorce rate than a marriage rate, and the problem ends up being that a lot of people on the spot have a hard time arguing that something like this, right? Once again, going back to the aforementioned statement that I had, stats can be, if you look at them long enough, skewed any way you want. But at the end of it, there's always one baseline stat that overrides everything, and I call that the truth. So on the spot, it's hard to, what would you say to that if black women are the only demographic to have a higher divorce rate than a marriage rate? Well, the way that you would respond to something like that, to just Pearly things, which these girls aren't able to do that. She doesn't screen she screens for a very particular type of women, just like the Fresh and Fit cats, right? They screen for like adult actresses, models, and like certain minds of women. And I heard somebody else talking about this on their channel, but the women that they screen for, they specifically choose to make them look smarter on live television, right? On YouTube live. The women that they choose, they make sure aren't women who can solve, intricate mental, gymnastics on the spot, right? Because there's a lot going on. They make sure to give them drinks. I'm sure it's Miami, so whatever else is going on. You get what I'm saying? The arena is set for the show. And so in this case, when you see something like this, it's a lot. It can be hard or difficult to argue, but the reality of the situation is, once again, as we stated before, when black women choose to date out or marry out, they're the most successful, right? Now, they're going to be like, well, they choose to do at least. Well, that the stat that we're looking at doesn't take into the amount of marriages. It takes into the amount of marriages per 100. So it'll take 100 marriages or 1,000 marriages, right, of all races that have been mingling, and then it'll take into account, and they'll do it in one area, or they'll do it in one area, and they'll do it in another area, and then the result. I'm trying to throw a smart word. The quantitative result. I don't even know what that means. The result ends up being the factoid of the fact that you see, right? This is why it's important to know where and how the stats were actually acquired. Because if I ask 10 people and I happen to run a blog site that pops off because one of my videos goes viral, and I interview 10 people and I drop a stat that says 80% of the people I talk to said that they like vanilla ice cream versus chocolate, but I only talked to 10 people, you're going to be like, well, that's kind of bogus. You need to at least talk to, 100, at least 50, or whatever that arbitrary number is for you. So in this particular case, this was thousands of marriages, right? That's qualifying enough for me. That's thousands of marriages. I'd say that's probably good enough. That's a good enough indication for me, right? Per 100 marriages, black women fare the highest if they choose to marry out with the most common or the vast overwhelming majority of the people that populate inside of the country that we're in. You get what I mean? So reality is nuanced. However, Pearly things and these Manosphere cats, or whatever your favorite content creator is, understands how to bend and mold the stats to fit their narrative. But the baseline reality is still the bigger and the more factual factoid in this entire argument here, which would beg or start to actually bring into question more of the black males who follow just Pearly things. Because if we take into indication, once again, the stats of black males who marry white women, they are at the absolute lowest and the highest rate for divorce out of anybody and out of any marriage group, period. Right? So going back to this is crazy, right? They're on the complete opposites. When black men marry white women, they're at the lowest marriage rate for everybody. When black women marry white men, they're at the highest successful marriage rates for everybody. Successful marriage rates and highest divorce rates for black men, right? The complete opposites. Can you believe that? That's crazy, right? So what would that indicate? Well, that would naturally indicate that there's either more of a problem with black on black dynamics in relationships, or there's a problem with, if we just look at the gray and black or black and white, that there's a problem with the black men, because the black men are having the highest divorce rates among interracial relationships and marriages, as well as black women having the highest divorce rates amongst marriage people, and black women marry mostly black men. What's the common factor? Right? You get what I mean? But once again, the money follows, right? The money follows the narrative, right? Because we've seen that a lot of guys don't truly want to put in, they don't want to listen to the actual videos that teach them how to become better guys. It's hard. It's very freaking hard. I get it, right? Let's look at a few more statistics that I see argued on this lady's panel a lot. I see, or I see in the comments, right? These are the statistics that these guys bring up. I'm not saying that women are perfect. Definitely not saying that. Let's see what else I have here. National Library. I thought this was interesting. I'm not going to ride too hard into this. We might save this for another time, but maybe another live stream. Check this out. This was released in 2019 on National Library of Medicine. It says being married increases life expectancy of white but not black Americans. What do you think of that? Being married increases life expectancy of white but not black Americans. Is it the women's fault, Pearly things? Is it the women's fault for that? We know that women outlive men, so is that the women's fault too? Is that black women's fault too? Right? Once again, I'm not saying that anybody's perfect. All I'm saying is that with the research that I'm doing, it tells a little bit of a different story, a pretty different story. With the experience that you might have experienced if you grew up in certain communities amongst a certain type of people and a certain type of culture, you would have a few different things to say. You would be a much different person than you are now. Just Pearly things. Even your name alone suggests that everything has been so fun and dandy in your life. Just so damn perfect. Just Pearly. Just Pearly. Right? You didn't grow up like a lot of the people that are surrounded in your podcast studio a lot of the times. You can say it makes a difference or not. It does make a difference. It's a very different experience that you might have from a lot of the people that are sitting in that studio. But of course, that doesn't matter, especially not on YouTube. It doesn't matter what the hell you are on YouTube or what you really are ultimately trying to prove or say. As long as you're appealing that algorithm and appealing the masses, you're good to go. Nobody wants to solve anything on YouTube. That would be foolish. I saw this on a website, and it kind of pertains to what we just talked about, why white men and black women might do a little bit better than black men. But check this out. This is something else that the Manosphere would say, or just Pearly things would say, the single just Pearly things would say to black men to make them feel, better for where they're kind of at with everything going on. Check this out. You know what? Did I get the right screenshot? Let me see 1 second, y'all. What can you do? I think I did. Yeah, we're good to go. All right. Those who want to boost marriage rates among blacks should focus on improving job opportunities and education for black men. In 2010, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 18.4% of black men were jobless compared to 9.6% of white men. Black men also earn lower wages than similar white men. Racial disparities persist even at high levels of education. Right? Even after holding education constant, black men are still more likely to be unemployed or economically deprived. Interesting. Causing them to fall short of what black women are looking for in partners. Finally, contrary to the patterns found amongst other ethnic groups, black women have higher educational attainment than black men. Wait, Finally, contrary to patterns found among other race ethnic groups, contrary, if you're a Pearly Things fan, means that unlike patterns, right, found in other race groups, black women have higher educational attainment than black men. Yet this adds to this struggle, right? Black women's values, in short, are not the problem. Black marriage rates, it goes on to say, are likely to rise only after America's black men receive more economic opportunity. Knows by Dwayne and Mouzon, blacks don't value marriage as much as other groups. That website, I need to start putting the links, I think. I'm going to start putting the links to these websites. It's scholars.org. Right. I want to show you something. Something else that I thought was interesting. Well, we'll see. Well, we'll let that go. All right, let's check out some. I got one more stat that I think I got in here. Well, you know, the reason that I was going to bring it up, forgive me. The reason why I was going to bring it up was because this is another Manosphere talking point, right? So the previous wasn't Manosphere talking point. This would be a Manosphere talking point. Well, they asked women, how important is it that, quote, a good husband or partner provide a good income? 2/3 of black women said it's very important, compared to 32% of white women. Now, this is the Pew Research Center in 2010 that did this. I'm sure this is, changed a little bit. I'd say this probably fluctuates 5 to 7%. If, probably, I don't know, probably not much more than that in 2022, right? So 2/3 of black women said it's very important that a good husband or partner provide a good income, compared to 32% of white women. 55%, roughly it says, of black women said that it was very important for a husband or partner to be well educated, compared to only 28% of white women. Half of black women said that financial stability should be an important precondition for marriage, but only 1/4 of white women felt that way. So there's a few ways the Manosphere could spin something like this, right? Either the black women or Pearly would try and spin something like this, or Kevin Samuels, right? Because she's the same thing, Kevin Samuels and Pearly. Either the women are too choosy and you're being delusional in this case, and you're asking for too much and you're getting ready to hit the wall, right? Isn't that what they always say? Either being delusional or too choosy. And this is that same article that I closed out, by the way, earlier. Or maybe it's not. Okay. All right, so the Manosphere say you're being delusional, too choosy. You need to lower your standards. Right? But in reality, what it's saying is there's more of a upward mobility or upward trajectory, at least on paper, according to these statistics, for what minority or black women in this instance want in their men, right? Now, the more subtle side in what's not being explained in a statistic like this, the Manosphere would say, you see, the women are too damn picky. You see, Pearly would be like, you see, the problem with women is you think that you all want a man. You think that you all need a man that pays the bills, that does this, that does that, and then he comes home to you, and most of you don't cook or clean, and something like this. And then one of the women on Pearl's panel would be like, I do cook for my man. I cook for my man. And Pearl would be like, oh, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying the majority. The majority of women don't cook and don't clean, and then you end up thinking, so get this, right? Get this. Do you know why this number is 32% for white women? You know why this number, good husband or partner to provide, is lower for other races of women? It's not just going to be lower for white women, right? It's because within their culture, consciously, subconsciously within their culture, that's the norm. That's kind of what happens more often than not, right? So that response is more indicative of the fact or the matter of that it's not even necessarily a concern of a good husband needs to be able to provide or have a good income. That's more. That's, you know what I mean? No, 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 no. Now let me now get this. Does that does that mean that white women are more willing to go out there and work? Or they want to go out there and work more, and whatever it might be? Well, maybe the feminist movement could suggest that. I don't think that. You know what I think it means? I think it means that the black community controlling only 2% of the wealth in America is being viciously brought to light by this statistic right here. The 32% of white women needing or feeling that a good husband or partner is needed to provide a good income, right? That's what that means. Right? How do you control more wealth? Well, you build more businesses. Who's building the most businesses? It's black women. So black women wanting or being more selectively whatever. I know a lot of you think that they mess with the F-boys earlier on in their life, yada, yada, yada. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. What kind of numbers do you want to go with? What statistics do you want to go with, right? What statistics do you want to go with? I don't know. If they're all messing with the F-boys, but they out educate black men. You get what I mean? Like, what are they all in college messing with the F boys? You know what I mean? If they're the ones that are opening more businesses, I don't know. Are her and the F boys opening up more businesses together? Goldman Sachs investing $10 million into black women. Are the D boys opening up the businesses with the black women? Which one is it? Are most black women, or are most women that the black manosphere is upset at, or the manosphere, are most young women, are modern women today more promiscuous and not doing anything? Or are modern women more educated and then more independent and then more this and then more that? Or is it both? Well, I could tell you that as a black community, or as the community being at the bottom of the barrel right now, probably need as much help as we can get. And once again, we see what's constant in failure as far as marriage and dynamics of relationship, intra and interracially, as far as the gender roles go, both male, female, and I'm sorry, not both, but male and female, right? We see the constants of what's going on. So I don't know. Every situation that I look at, even though Pearly Things has a great way of making it seem like it's the women, right? And she brings on the women that fit the criteria that she speaks about specifically, even though she herself is that very same woman. Now, let's go ahead and really knock on one thing and just understand this. By her being a single woman at the age of 24, 25, or however old she is, not married, not really looking to date, and financially going and chasing after her dreams, she's the exact same type of woman that the guys are despising and hating on in black women. She's the young, educated, ambitious, childless, single, ringless woman chasing after her goals and dropping more YouTube videos than probably any YouTuber on the platform right now. That's her. But if you look under her comments, under every single video, it's filled of nothing but comments responding to how amazing she is, how wonderful she is. Thank God for you, Pearl. Thank God for Kevin Samuels, Pearl. Pearl, you're the new Kevin Samuels, Pearl. You have done so well to keep up Kevin Samuels' legacy. That's one of the comments I saw. I saw a comment that said, Pearl, you've done so. That's why I named the the last live stream I did, right, about the legacy. It took a white woman to keep up a black man's legacy because none of the black men could get their ish together quick enough. I'll be honest with you. Dennis tried, but it didn't work. Dennis has the personality of a rock. So, I held that K a little long. I'm going to have to go ahead and pause myself right there. I had to pause myself, babe. I couldn't do that. I'm like, nigga, why'd you hold that rock so long? Nigga, what the hell? Pearl is the exact woman that, as they compliment saying they wish they could find a woman like Pearl, Pearl doesn't want to date. That woman that you're seeing online, that Pearl, she doesn't want to date or be married. So you wouldn't be able to find the woman like Pearl, and when you did find her, she wouldn't marry you. So you're everlastingly looking for your Pearl, but not recognizing that Pearl isn't looking for you, but you're thinking that she is. She doesn't. She's not. She's not married. She's single. She's not engaged. She's not anything. Do you understand the madness of that? I don't know if any guys will really truly get that. How stupid and how lost and how backwards that really is. She doesn't want to date. She would rather make money based off of your pain, sorrow, and your financial expense, or in your financial expense. If you're a guy that's following and that's been super chatting or that whatever, right? Hello, have you seen a guy on any of her pictures other than the one that she was seen with right here on the right-hand side? It's not that she's hiding her boyfriend from social media. What is her boyfriend? Is her new boyfriend that she's recently acquired scared of social media? No, obviously not. She's popular enough to where people would probably catch her, or at least catch a glimpse of her, or at least take a picture and spread it somewhere at this point in time, because she's in the millions before she was banned on TikTok and Instagram. Maybe not. Honestly, I think she's the biggest face in the dating realm on YouTube. If you type in anything in relation to boyfriend or girlfriend, you'll probably find her channel or one of her clips somewhere, right? She's extremely viral on YouTube. And dating is a big sector, but it's a kind of a small sector too. You get what I mean? There's not YouTube. I don't know if y'all know this. YouTube recommends 85%, I think, of videos to channels that have 500,000 or more subscribers. 85 or 90%. I heard one of the YouTube creators say that, in the creator studio. There's a little series of videos things you can watch here on your dashboard. I don't know if he meant to say that. Hang on a second. But yeah, 85% of the videos on YouTube and on the homepage and everything like that are usually from people with 500,000 subscribers or more for the general mass population. This means that if you type in a video and you're of the general mass population and not pretty much somebody that's maybe a manosphere person, right? Or a serious gender war person. Say you're random blue pill, or you just haven't heard about the manosphere or red pill or dating or anything like this. Say you're just a normal person and you just go on YouTube and type in girls are bad, I hate relationships. Just Pearly things would be the one to pop up for you. You get what I mean? So you would see her and be like, man, okay, there's actually women out there that really, understand this, and that. And guess what, guys? There are women out there that understand, There are women out there that completely get it and know the game and yada, yada, yada. Just Pearly Thing's not one of those women, though. Right? She's just as lost and just as confused as you are. Now, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'll be honest with you, and this is going to be kind of speculative, okay? I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. What's up? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to say that. It's kind of a bit far. I was going to speculate why she was over in the UK to begin with. Because I was like, why is she in the UK talking with all the UK people? She's not from the UK. She sounds like a straight... And she was on the Coach Greg Adams channel the other day. Let me see what they talked about. Let me try and find it. Coach Greg Adams. Let's see what they talked about. Coach Greg Adams, Pearly things. How reality hits men in marriage.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel. Today, I have taken over Coach Greg Adams' studio.
What am I going to do, man? She took over the studio for the day.
Yeah, she's taking over the entire Manosphere.
Yeah, I'm the captain now.
You're the captain now?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get it going.
Before I start, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
All right, well, I'm not going to do all that. Let's see.
That I have to teach people about. And this is where men lose more than 50%. So you hear that phrase, men lose half. Well, men typically lose 75% of their income or resources, because the third calculation is how property is divided, how pensions are divided, how retirements are divided, how, if you had a business, how's that divided? So those are three separate calculations when you go through a divorce. And typically, if you had a guy and you were a business owner, or you had a military pension or a firefighter's pension, and then you had kids, and then you have spousal support, that's three income sources that are divided in the courts.
All right. So there's another Manosphere point, right? Boom, another Manosphere point. Now, most people would have a hard time arguing a point like that, right? Most women would hear something like that and they'd be like, most black women, right? When you hear something like, wow, when a guy loses 75% of the stuff in marriage, Pearly would be like, well, you see, so you have to be more feminine. You have to be more willing to listen, because guys lose half their stuff in marriage. Guys lose all their stuff. And the women would just sit there and she'd be like, did you know that they lose 50% of their stuff, 75? Did you know that men do this, do that? It sounds like a foolproof argument, right? It's like, dang, what can you say? Well, if you remember, the stream we did, shout out to Organic Black, shout out to Seeking Him Daily, shout out to Diana Prince, shout out to Hybrid, shout out to a few other people. I'm not looking at the comments right now, y'all. But if you want me to, if I do get a super chat, I do look at the comments. But I can't read the comments because I gotta stay in the zone. But if it's a super chat, I read the comments for sure. But if you remember though, the live stream we did, we talked about the direct correlation between education and earnings, right? The more education you have, the more money you make. And we know that. If you got a doctorate degree, you're going to make more than somebody with a master's degree most of the time. Master's degree makes more than a bachelor's, so forth. So not all the time, but for the most part, that's the general rule. That's the general rule. The more educated you are formally in the accredited college, right, then the higher amount your salary is going to be, and the more difficult your major is, also sometimes the more money, most of the time, the more money you're going to make, right? Common sense. So if we know that the more educated you are, the more money you make, and black women are the few or the minority, or I think the only women who out-educate their men, if they out-educate the men, and we know that people who have educations make more money, I need some music. Let me get some music, and I need to take a drink, because we're going to think about this. Let's try and add 1 + 1, okay?
Woman, he can't divorce the woman because she gained weight. That's a disadvantage, but she could divorce me for gaining weight.
Yeah.
Oh, he got us a lazy slob.
That's what I said. That's what I got. All these whales on my page.
The whales, yeah. We
Yeah.
call them busted Pillsbury whiskey can.
She's talking about she said, I got all these whales on my page. She's talking about women. Did y'all not see Pearl? What are you talking about whales, Pearl? What are you talking about whales? Did y'all not see her ex's Instagram? Let me find his Instagram again. This is crazy. She's talking about whales. Okay. Let's go ahead and just take take it a step back. Once again, people online and offline completely different. This is just Pearly Things X. While she's pointing out the whales that are on her YouTube page. This is the guy that she was dating. Now, he's not a whale. But I'm just being honest here. He's probably not a dolphin either. All right. Okay. Let's get back to it, shall we? She was able to get in here and just finesse and just bank. Guys are like, yes, Pearl. Look at the comments. Hold on. This is amazing to see these two together. Any man who wants to marry a modern girl woman. Okay, that's okay. So true about what aging. I'm 41. Hafiz dropped the ball on this one. I don't even know the red pill. Seen awakening. Some people will be put off by the audio. Let's look at this. Is mostly Coach Greg's people here. It's I guess the same thing. So let's see if we hear anything else that's interesting.
No, I did a clip that was going viral, and all these whales started to show me their blubber. I'm like, you're just giving my
show me your blubber, right? And most of the time, these people, obviously, the guy didn't marry her in that state many times. So now she's not who he married, and we call that a bait and switch.
Yeah, that's what they do. They get the ring, and and then they're like, I'll just let myself go.
And there's no penalty for her.
Now, I think what's interesting here is that Coach Greg Adams is more on the lines of not getting married, period. While Pearl is more on the lines of shitting on black women for not being married, right? Or shitting on women, modern women, for not being married, right? So it's like which one is it, Pearl? Is it that you're going to roll with Coach Greg Adams and men don't need to be married because it's such a raw deal and because things are so bad and because the system's going to take 50 to 75% of the men's assets, even though a lot of the households with women make more than the guys now in 2022? Or is it that women need to be married? And this is, I mean, which one is it? Because Coach Greg is saying that marriage is horrible, but you're across the pond telling women and bashing women over the head that they need to get married. It doesn't make any sense. You can't have it both ways. You have to pick a side. This is why we often say that for a lot of women, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. It doesn't matter what side they're on. They do get married, it's an issue. You're going to have issues with Coach Greg Adams telling a bunch of guys that you shouldn't get married. And Pearly Things is going to be up in the studio with him just making good old videos together, even though they're saying completely opposite things. Pearly Things advocating for marriage, not being married herself. Or maybe she just likes to shit on other people for being married, but nobody's asked her a single time, why aren't you married, bro? Are you married? Where's your ring? Right? What made you the expert? Oh, I forgot. She's the best. She's not an expert. She's the best regurgitator, though. I'll give her that. She's the best regurgitator, and she's the quickest on her. She's one of the quicker on her feet. Admittedly, if you don't know all the stats, it's pretty hard to be drafted into a podcast setting with lights and all kinds of stuff with a girl who's been studying. Now, I don't know if studying is the right thing to do here. With a girl who's been obsessed with Kevin Samuels for the past 2 years, all right? If you're new to this and you haven't seen this, she's done 132 Kevin Samuels reactions. Y'all, I don't think you understand like how much work this is. These aren't like basic little small videos. This is a 26-minute long video, y'all. She's got 132 Kevin Samuels videos. And you know why I say race matters? Because she says and title all of her videos, Whitest Girl on Earth reacts to Kevin Samuels. Whitest Girl on Earth reacts to How to Cheat. So she knows that race is a part of this. She absolutely understands that race is a part of this. She's playing the race card 1,000,000%. She knows that if she's a white girl sitting inside this room talking to black women, shitting on black women, that niggas got so much fucking self-hate that she'll be able to capitalize off of this stuff because that's how ignorant niggas are by and large. This is why we as a people will always be at the bottom. Because we're able to be penetrated just like rap, just like YouTube, just like slavery. We're able to be infiltrated amongst somebody that purports themselves to be a friend while celebrating the very essence of our demise. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating thing. We don't see this in any other culture outside of our culture. So she knows that her white status puts her in a different realm, and that's exactly what helped her to elevate based off of the whitest girl on earth reacting to Kevin Samuels videos. 132 reaction videos. And those are just reaction videos. Those aren't any other type of work that she's been doing. That's not any of the podcast videos, right? Talk about obsessed.
Hi guys, welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel where I, Hannah Pearl, react to different videos that are requested of me. Today, I am reacting to Kevin Samuels. Let me look at the title of the video. Mother of two believes that she is the prize. I can only guess what that means, how this is going to go. But before I begin, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially...
Jeez. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Once again, I wouldn't even support the channel, support the show. If you like the show, you can donate on Cash App, True Seekers, TRUTHSEEKRS, no E at the end. Any contributions appreciated. We're trying to get another camera for the studio so we can start doing a few things. I want to start doing interviews again. Also, you can donate on PayPal. The link's somewhere on there. Streambot, maybe not. Somewhere on there. Cash App is better, though. And you could also super chat. Thank you to everybody that's donated. GotSerum.com. You got the links. It's actually the body wash. Our body wash, my girlfriend and I's body wash that we started. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's formulated with all high-quality ingredients. Not a ton of essential oils. Not a ton of cheap oils that you would see inside the store. It's none of that stuff. It's high-quality materials and ingredients. Trust me, I wouldn't sell it to you if it wasn't, because I don't want you getting upset at me and then trying to charge me for a bunch of refunds saying you don't like my product. I don't want to go through any of that. We're in business and we're in good business. So check out GotSerum.com. It's a better shower experience, a more wholesome shower experience. Also, make sure that the shower product that you're using isn't one of the 1 million customers affected by the recent recall because of cancer-causing ingredients. GotSerum.com, 100% natural, 100% bomb, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving into the late night hours. It's 11:16 p.m. in the great state of Texas. I hope that you're enjoying your night wherever you are. I think on the West Coast it's 2 hours behind, so 9:16 p.m., possibly 8:16 in California. 2 hours ahead of us in New York. That means it's 1:16 in the morning over there right now. But we know that the great apple never sleeps. We were talking about just pearly things. I've hit the second win, ladies and gentlemen. I've hit the second win. Can you tell? It's when you get a burst of energy and you're like, okay, man, I can go for like another 3 hours. And then after like 45 minutes, you're like, damn, I'm done. Right? We're talking about her ex and his new pearly things. Maybe he left her. Maybe he hypergamized her. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe, just maybe. I wanted to say, if you wanted to call in, okay, we'll do this now. If you want to call in, here we go. We're going to try a new thing today, okay? We're going to try calling in. Oh, shoot, my phone's going to die. Well, we were going to call in, but the phone's going to die here. I don't know if there's anybody really that probably would want to call in. I'm not looking at the chats right now. Let me see. If you want to call in, go ahead. I guess we'll open it while my phone's up and about. Here's the number. Call me, and I'm going to put you on stream, and we can talk about things. All right, so get your phone out. It would be nice to talk to you. Let me open up my stream deck really quickly. So we're trying a new thing tonight. We're trying to step up to the 21st century and utilize this wonderful technology that's backfiring on me right now. There we go. All right, if you're ready for that number, then I'm ready for you. That number is 817 Oh, jeez. Babe, what's my number? Hold on a second. 817 476 3035. 817 476 3035. And yeah, go ahead and call in. I'd like to hear what you have to say or what you think about Miss Just Pearly Things, her ex, her current single status, and everything else of the likes. Make sure you're leaving a like on this. Speaking of likes, it helps to get more in the algorithm, obviously. But you already know that because you're a professional YouTuber, just like I am. We'll be talking about more Manosphere topics, obviously, coming in the future. And we're going to start mixing more hip-hop with it as well. Because I found, and I've been thinking, and I studied, and I saw Red Supreme is doing well with hip-hop. And the hip-hop element does carry over into the mixed element of our conversation and dialogues, right? It does carry over, I will say. It does carry over because I'm starting to realize that at the core of pop culture is still the same issues that the gender war has faced. It still has the same group of people that we have, or that are a prominent issue with a decent amount of people in society, unfortunately. I'm not trying to say or point anybody out too much. I know that we're doing better. The numbers are going down. But in other areas, the numbers are going up for other things as well. I don't see anybody calling, and that's a good thing, because the phone is on 2% now, which means that it's going to die any second. There is no 1% on this phone. So I'm going to switch it to my main cam and keep it on my main cam for the rest of the stream because I won't have a choice. Ms. Pearly Things. We have a little bit more to talk about in regards to Ms. Pearly Things coming up here in a little bit. And it's going to get more interesting, naturally as these things go. As time goes on, I find out more information and learn more and see. But I think the interesting thing about Just Pearly Things is, and I heard another YouTuber saying this, but he said that he felt like she was going to be approaching her ahead soon because there's really not too many other places that she can take a message like this. And it's not like she's forming any type of original concept or content herself, like the intellectual property that she regurgitates back on these sets. It's nothing that people haven't heard before. You get what I mean? So I guess how long can she keep saying the same thing and, doing well from it? That's the question right now more. With as many people as going through relationship problems and many of an issue that needs to be addressed with a lot of guys that really isn't addressed because there's nobody to address those issues in their lives. It might be a long time. I don't know. But he feels like it's going to come to a head eventually. And with her being banned on TikTok and Instagram, it's just a matter of time before she ends up getting banned on YouTube as well and taking the route of Andrew Tate and a few others. We actually still have some juice inside of the phone. I hope that you enjoyed this live stream on Just Pearly Things and her ex. I hope that I see you again, not tomorrow, but the night after. I know it was a late night stream, but we're taking this one back all the way back for the people who started with us in the very beginning when we started streaming on the late nights. I enjoy the late nights because it's more peaceful, and I hope that this stream brought you some peace as well. If it didn't, then maybe you need to assess your life and really check within. If this stirred you or made you uncomfortable, then maybe you need to maybe you need to check and really, maybe you should really, though, on a serious tip, really look within. If this angers you, if you think that I'm pandering, if you think that I'm completely wrong, well, I'm not. But if you think that I am, then try and prove or, reason with yourself why. Are you where you want to be at? Are you happy? Did you have a good time last night? I had a good time last night. Did you have a good time last night? I'm going to have a good time tonight, too. And so just really be honest with yourself and ask the honest questions. And I don't mean to say, that sounded really bad. I meant that sounded so bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that in a sensual way. I mean like an actual, just like, are you happy? Type of deal. Like, are you good? Are you happy? Cool. Then go live life. There's no need to complain. But um, the very essence of you being upset or watching this, particularly in an antagonistic type of manner, or at least watching me in a more flustered type of manner, would mean that you're probably not, or at least not as happy as me. So, hey, I'm Truth. THT. I'm going to be getting up out of here. I do love you very much. Be safe. Consider your Second Amendment rights. Go out, shoot, try firearms at the range, as long as you're legal to do so. Have somebody show you how to teach, or have the range guy show you how to rack it and everything like that. It's a crazy world we live in. I would leave without it, just me personally. But then again, I'm a crazy Texan, so what can I say?